Hello, people. Today I am here to talk about Pachinko by Minjin Lee. I have read 13 books into the month, so I will be reviewing Pachinko by Minjin Lee. As you know, my videos don't really have a rhyme or reason. I just kind of read and then gossip about it. Anyway. Mosquito! Pachinko by Mission Lee is a historical fiction based in the early 1900s. It follows the daughter of a crippled fisherman named Sanja, and she falls in love with a wealthy stranger and gets preggy. But she finds out that he's already married and she doesn't want to become his mistress. And there is this sickly minister, like church minister, that's staying at her boarding house. Her mother has a boarding house and she works there, by the way. And with this conundrum, that sickly minister, his name was Isaac, and he basically asks for her hand in marriage because he wants to do a good deed and give the bastard child a name so he won't be ridiculed. And it's the early 1900s in Japanese colonized Korea, so tradition. Yeah, and they get married and they move to Osaka, Japan. And coincidentally, that wealthy stranger, his business operation is also mainly in Osaka, Japan, by the way. The book follows three generations into the descendants of Sanja, her two sons being Mozazu and Noah. Noah is the son that I talked about, and Mozazu is the son of Isaac and Sanja. This novel provides a very vivid view into the Japanese colonized Korea and the other side of the eastern side of the World War II. It was World War II going on, by the way, and it also reflects on the uncertainty of the Koreans at the time after World War II, because they had gone through 20 years of colonization, and right after that, there were the major powers were giving up with their countries, playing with the Cold War and whatever. And there was a quote of Hansu, the character, like Sanja's first husband, baby daddy. He was, I don't specifically remember, but he was telling to his subordinate, and it's a quote, that we don't have a motherland anymore. And it's a so simple quote, but it hit really deep because, yeah. And the book also dives deep into the generational trauma of Sanja and her descendants living through colonization, then World War II, and living in a country that oppressed your people and continues to alienate and oppress you in their own country. So that was that. I rated this book 4 stars and not 5-star because there's three generations, and including some characters who are family friends, right? So the book uses first person narrative for almost all of them. It just kind of does too much with too many historical perspectives, and it has a way too much going on. Sanja and later on Mozasu, they kind of Sanja is basically the only primary character who is constant throughout the story, and we don't really have the time to get familiar with and form that rapport or empathy with certain characters who deserve human kindness and empathy, but we just don't have time for the reader to build emotional rapport, and the story just kind of keeps moving on through time. And during chapters, you just kind of skip a few years or just shift off from one character to another without any other warning except the chapter break. So you're just kind of thinking where you are or who you're with. That's the main reason why I didn't rate the book 5 stars. My phone is heating up again. I don't know why it's happening today, but it usually doesn't. That's all for my notes. I don't have much to talk about. I don't know if it's worth like just 8 minutes and I'm done with my review. Oh, there was another discussion about Zionism. Surprisingly, I was not expecting that. Noah, right? He is English literature student, and he was discussing one of the novels of Eliot. I don't remember the author's name, but she's from England, I believe. I don't know the classic authors. I'm sorry, but they were discussing the characters' motives for moving into Israel. There's a side couple with both being Jewish, and Noah and her girlfriend, his girlfriend, Akiko, they were discussing that if what the characters did was truly noble by moving to Israel, or was it simply George Eliot or just Eliot's way of saying that they shouldn't mix with other races, or like the immigrants should just go back to their country and etc etc. There was this whole lengthy discussion about of a few pages, and I was really whatever. And I was really interested, and I was pleasantly surprised with that discussion. On the other, what was I saying again? I got distracted. Oh my goodness. Okay, I can. It's probably fireworks again, but yeah. The story is essentially focuses on immigration and racism, and it also sheds lights into racism of the Japanese culture towards other Asians, especially the Koreans, etc. etc. I don't know what else I have to say. I'm just brainstorming if I have to say anything else, but if not, goodbye. That was that. It's 11 minutes of nonsense. But okay, for real though, just one-on-one talk. Do I really need some video ideas on what to do, because I'm just gonna just reading and checking off into reviewing books, and yeah, that's about it for the video. See you next time.